Oops. Mute the mic. Doesn't help, does it? Back for some more refactoring. We're going to carry on where we left off. We're aiming to get a testable thing that has a dependency that we can mock. As I was just showing, but you couldn't hear me, we have a branch refactor that we're in the middle of that you can find on GitHub. I'm just going to take a minute to announce the streaming. Twitch. Could do with this auto tweeting. So that's that. Right. Oh, so much extra to think about. Kind of need Twitch to tell me magically like auto tweet. Anyway. Right. So I've posted the stream in more places. I think that'll do. Right. What were we doing? So this is like okay. Don't know if I'll be able to do this with async. We shall see. We shall see. So let's start by making this function an implementation of a trait. So it doesn't currently need any data, and then impl analyzer I don't actually know how to do this. Something like that. This is where I can pull up the magical GPT generated text. That's my restream. That's that. I'll pull up the repo as well. This is where you can see the refactor. I'll put that in the stream comments. Why this says Twitter on the title, I don't know. Oh, right. Let's get that better name. Better name. Better name. Why does my laptop think it's using battery power? Maybe I'm just drawing so much power the power supply can't keep up. Maybe I need to plug in. I don't even know where my charger is. Got one somewhere. Anyway, hopefully it'll survive. Right. Let's get that out of the way. I'm going to keep that there where I can use it as a reference. Oh yeah, we need a struct, don't we? So this is the real analyzer, and then wait, what are they doing here? Trait dependency, right? So this is the let's call it repo reader. Should we call it dependency? No, it's going to be too confusing. Right, so this is what it depends on, but it's not a real thing. Right, and then we have the, let's come back to this. And then we have the actual repo analyzer, which is our business logic. And that's going to have a dependency on the reader, which is like a, so in the example, they've made it generic. That's not the only way of doing it. It kind of doesn't really matter. So that depends on repo reader, which is dynamic because we don't know how big it is. But we're basically saying we need that in order to do our thing. So then we're going to say impl repo analyzer, and we're going to move the logic into there. We're not going to bother with the trait because this isn't something that you can swap out. So at this point, instead of get stars, it's now, we need this thing, don't we? This. I've forgotten how this works. Self thing. Self dot repo reader dot get stars. Something like that. What do we get? Damn. Functions and traits cannot be declared async. I've just fallen off the edge of my knowledge. Damn. Okay, maybe I'll just make it synchronous for now. All that async cleverness, we'll just hide it. So this one. So where's the await? So get stars. No, we don't need that yet. What's he complaining about? Right, analyze repo, we don't know what it is. Alright, let's start with that, because we need to make one of those. Let analyzer equals repo analyzer. And this is where we can create the real thing. So we make the real one. Right, so now we've got an analyzer. We can go analyzer dot analyze repo, and we don't need the await because we're not going to make that async anymore. Make all that synchronous. I could talk, but I also want it in the comments, so I'll just write it. Basically at this point, we have the analyzer, which is a struct with its implementation that encapsulates our business logic, and the data it needs is where to find this repo reader that's going to get injected dynamically at runtime. It's restricted to being the trait that we've defined, so we know that it's going to define get stars at compile time. We just don't know how big it is, hence dynamic. We'll probably have to box that when we add a second implementation, but for the time being, the compiler can figure this out, I think. Where are we at on our build? Maybe we have to box it now, I don't know. Guess we'll see. Oh, lots of errors. What have we done? The errors in Rust are cool. I've done this enough to just know it all off the top of my head. Oh, I forgot self in the definition here. Okay, that needs to be sorted out. That still needs the question mark, I think, because it can error. Right, now we're getting somewhere. Do I actually need the box? I'm going to just try. I think we will need the box, but I'm going to just try taking it off just to see if that was a red herring for the time being. Yeah, here we go. We don't know the size at compile time, therefore, because it's a trait. Yeah, okay. So, it looks like we do have to box it right now. So let's do that. And now, ooh, caps lock. We're going to have to box it up, which is something like boxing. I don't remember off the top of my head. How do we box a thing? Quick Google. Rust box. Box new. Oh, there we go. Close. Autostructor variant. No, you're right, it's a trait. So we haven't actually defined this thing yet. So this needs to be like the real one. That doesn't know what this is, so that's cool. Because we haven't defined that yet. So we defined the trait. We defined the thing that uses it. But we haven't defined an implementation of our trait that we need, so there is nothing implementing this. So let's go ahead and do that. So we'll need a struct, real repo reader, and then impl what's the impl for thingamajig? This still confuses me. I think it's implement repo reader for real repo reader. Something like that? Or maybe it's the other way around. Okay, yeah, it's saying implement. Yeah, look at that, the IDE knows what it needs. Right, now somehow do a little bit of C-sharpy thing and have an asyncy one. Now, how do I make an async into a synchronous? So you're going to have to bear with me. This is the fun of live coding. You can watch me not knowing what I'm doing. So here's some, so I just Googled some things. I'm not at the point of just using GPT to tell me the answer to everything at the moment. It's probably going to take me a while to decide whether that's even the thing I want to do. Join all. Okay, that's our async main. Okay, so apparently we're using the Tokyo crate for our async. And I think we have to, because I'm pretty sure that the actual client is using Tokyo. I wonder if we can do this without an async main. Yeah, that's still an async main. Complicated. So it's talking about threads. Well, that's a good question. Can you use it without Tokyo? Alright, well maybe I'll do this the other way and see if I can figure out how to like have a trait. Do you know what? I'll get it to spit out the error on the trait. Cannot move. Okay, so let's have a borrow of and it. I don't know. That's not what I'm trying to do. I want the error of the trait being async here, so that I can Google it. Consider using async trait crate. Why did I do a web request? Well, this is good. This is all stuff we'll need for web programming. Okay, async trait. Alright, well, let's pull the crate in. Copy. See what then. It's just stage where we're at. Maybe have a format as well. Yeah, the format. What do we get? Diff on the lock file. Diff on the async trait. And then we can go async trait, which is a macro. Okay, what did we get? Cannot find. I guess we've not imported it or something. Use. To actually put it on. Lifetimes do not match. Alright. So now we can await. And now that can be a async. Right, this is what async does. It infects everything. So that's now an async trait as well. And no. Impl. Oh, that's not a trait impo. Ah. So get stars is now async. So we don't need that there. That's now going to be an await, because that is now an async thing. Should run a Pomodoro, so I know how I'm doing. Right, what's this complaining about? I cannot move value of type down reader. I think we want a reference to this. Because I make that a reference everywhere. Oh, it builds. Quick, stage it. Right, how are we doing? So we've got our async main back. We've got our setting up a real one. So we set up the business logic, we inject the real thing, run the main logic. Right, that's a redundant comment, so I'm not going to put it in. But basically that says we're done. So we've got our let's start from the business logic and work down. So let's move reader down. So we've got our analyzer. There's business struct, that's the business of implementation of logis. That's where we use it. Okay, and then dependency. we're saying right, so it's that. The real one we haven't done. So that's the struct. Okay, and then we just go get stars async repo dot await. We don't need to unwrap it because we're returning the error, and then we'll just reuse the function. Let's just keep it clean. Cool. It builds. Does it run? It still runs. Cooking on gas. Wow. So, what do we do in this one? It's still a refactor. Introduce trait and structs for dependency. Hello? Hang on. Right, back in a second. Right. Where was I? Life interrupts. Introduce traits and structs for dependency. Let's introduce a... Now, where did I find out about that? I like to include links. Yeah, okay, that was it. I'm not logged in. Copy link. That is an ugly link. let's have that without. I've got an add-on that strips all the UTM junk. Let's have a link to the crate itself. Oh. Oh. Caps lock gets me all the time. What do we do for that? We did this. Right, what did we get? Oh, let's do a format. I just did that, and then amend the commit. Cool. Push. Getting there. Right, now I have to remember how to write tests. So we can do something simple here. You can write tests in the file. You can write tests in a separate test directory. But I think for this I'll probably just do it in the file. Start from the beginning. Mod tests. We've got one with some logic. Alright, so librs, there's some logic. And then they've got a mod tests. I'm going to copy paste this, I'm going to write it out because it helps me remember it. So I'm going to stick this on the other screen so I can copy it. Well, elsewhere on my screen. So mod tests, and then we have to tell it with, I don't know if this is a macro or not, but whatever it is, we have to import everything, use super, so that's everything above, and then we're going to write a test. We're going to say function does stuff. We'll refine this in time. I quite often just call the test like X or something and then give it a name once I've written it. Assert. Let's go with an equal. True, false. Let's see if we can run it. Well, that's building. I quite often just go add. The ID's seen it's a test. Expected true, got false. Awesome. So now, so just like this news up the real one, we can do exactly the same here. Oh, async tests. Uh-oh. What are the chances that I can run an async test? Async cannot be used for tests. Ah, crap. Bad words. More Googling, more learning. Let's really paste the error into Google. PyTest? No, wrong language. Right, let's stick Rust on the front of that. Rust. Oh, can't spell. And the answer is just replace test with Tokyo test. Whoop whoop. So that goes in. Okay, that's better. Normal errors. Let's just copy that for now. What's my... okay. Build. Okay, it executes. Cool. So we're still building the real one, which we want to do. Inject a fake. So at the moment, this test is making a real call to the internet. And we'll see the problem with that. So if we give this a dot expect, so you kind of want to write what happened, that something went wrong. No, this just failed. Dot. So that's now a string. How do we just rerun the tests? Run. So no, rerun test. Control Shift F5. Failed because. So if I say that. Right, we should get a pass now. Don't do this. This is bad. So we got a pass here. Now if I go and I'll show why this is not a good idea. So if we go to the, let's put that just to the side. If we go to the Gitopolis repo and we star it ourselves and we run the test again, oh look, the test has failed because we're depending on the internet for our tests to succeed. See, by unstarring it. Oop. Now it's passing again. So obviously this is bad. We don't want to make a call out to the real internet and assume that we've got exactly the right number of stars. That's going to make some very fragile tests. And you won't need many of these before your deploy pipelines are flapping all over the place. So what we need to do is in our test, reduce the test to test what is under our control and eliminate the stuff that's beyond it. So for this particular test, and you do need to think about whether you've got enough coverage to have confidence in things. So you might have a smoke test that says, I got some number. So you could make that into a smoke test, which you'd loosen up. But we want this to be a pure code test. So now, instead of having real responder, we're going to make a different one. And we can even put it in here. Fake responder. And we're going to say, okay, got, let's make it a bit more realistic. So let's say, let's give it a real nice example, but let's make it like it's really popular. So it's a U. Oh no, we just want the 8, don't we? So we can say, all right, when the fake responder responds, it says 1,000 stars. Fake. Right, now we're gonna inject the fake one. Yeah, look, so what we've just managed to do very quickly is say we're going to fake it, and we're going to have our fake responder do that. So what we can do, so at the moment we've got a bit of a mystery guest here, like why is that 1,000? That's not obvious in this test. So what we're going to do is we are going to move that into here. And then instead of having it just magically in the implementation, we're going to go, was it equals? Something that languages don't tend to agree on. And then here we can go star count. We can return it. That should still pass. And it does. Alright, let's just address that. Oh, let's stage that because we're all good. It should still run fine because we haven't changed the real implementation at all. Let's have a format as well. Okay, that's got long, so it's wrapped it, which is cool. Tidy, I do like the default formatting, it's very nice. Hello Hackbally, just noticed your comment. That's on Twitch. Sweet. It is real. Open up my Twitch stream and see. I see the comments through restream.io, which is very cool. So it collects the comments on both. Does it have time codes? No, it doesn't. Right, where do we get to? Pomodoro is running out, as is my brain. So, mystery guest eliminated, because now you can see that is that, and that is that. So the business, you can see we're testing the business logic that the analyze repo is taking this piece of information and this piece of information and combining it into a nicely formatted string. Sweet. What else do we need to do? I think we're kind of done on the async trait. That's cool, I've learnt loads. I think we might be good for our first dependency injection demo. Bonus points for async. So what I might do is I might move that into another file and call that the trait one. So it's no longer a refactor really, it is more... Yeah, I think I'm just going to let main do this. Alright, so what we got? Add test with di of fake repo reader. Where's my... Oh. Ah. Oh, my clipboard drives me mad. That. Double check the formatting, double check the test. Oh, yeah, we haven't dealt with that yet. Still want to deal with that. Double check it, runs. Oh, my Pomodoro timer has gone off, but I ain't taking a break yet. I'm not done. Right, so it's saying we don't need this, which we don't, because we don't actually go and read anything. But it's helpfully telling us what to do about it. Does that work, or does it care about the names when it's implementing the trait? No, that's us able to say, yeah, I know I accept this string parameter, but whatevs. So let's include that in our commit. And because that's a good increment, I'm going to go back to main. I'm going to merge it with refactor, which should be a fast forward by default, and I'm going to push that to main. So now it's all up on GitHub, and I'm going to delete the refactor branch. I have aliases for all things. That's an alias that, I think it's a shell function that deletes the local branch and deletes the remote branch to keep it tidy. So now this will 404 because that branch is gone. Some nice chilled tunes on what I'm listening to. Ghosts by Catching Flies. On Spotify 2019. Very nice coding music. I cannot share it with you because that would get my stream taken down. Whoop whoop. There we go, and I shall post that. If I do a line number, then we can see. Oh, I haven't renamed it from does stuff. Standard noob error. I can pretend I did though. Thanks to the magic of editing commits and force pushes. What should we call it? Formats, repo name, and stars. There we go. You'll never know that that was ever there, because I'm going to throw away my last commit. By going RAA, which is alias to get RAA, which is what does this do? No. I'm sure there's like a No, that's not what I'm after. Well, anyway, I've got aliases. Reset RA is reset author. So now I'm one ahead and one behind, which you can see here. So this is the original version of the commit, and this is the new version with a better name. Force push, git push force minus minus lease. And it's like it was never there, and that name was always correct. Magic. Poof. There we go. AI and deep learning, Paddington, May 10th. Cool. In a week. Right, I think that might be a good moment to take a break, and I might pause the stream. Or should I get a I might move this out into, because I'm going to do more types of injection. So I might go for a bike ride. Yeah, going out. Right. Okay, try my solo button. Right, there we go. That was some good fun. We learned about async and using it with traits. We learned about async and using it with tests. We learned a bit about the Tokyo library. We have implemented a dependency injection. So we had an implementation which was some business logic, and that depended on an injected trait, which had to be boxed and dynamic. So you don't know the size of it at runtime, which is a trade-off to consider. If you're looking for ridiculous speed, then that's an overhead that you might not want, and you might want to look at one of the other ways of doing dependency injection. We will get to those later, and I'll be doing a talk about what the possibilities are and the trade-offs, and this repo is going to give me the code samples. So there we go. Peace out.